and welcome to a special live edition of the Big Rican on Sports podcast. I am your host. I am the Big Rican, and this is a Getting Back in the Saddle episode. And why am I getting back in the saddle? Well, there's been some stuff going on. So I brought my friend Alex, who actually knows a lot of the stuff that's been going on from Row 7. Alex, good to see you.
As always, my friend Mike, it's a blast talking sports, talking football, talking baseball with you. So I'm happy to be here. It's Monday night, and we're ready to go, locked and loaded. Absolutely.
So, as I told everybody, Alex knows kind of what's been going on. So let me go here. First things first, I want to give a shout out to my new good friend, Willie Epting Jr. and Natalie from Nat Sports Chat on Twitter. I did a baseball preview on March 31st. I had a blast, and as Willie said, once I did it once, I was family, no longer a special guest. The next day, unfortunately, the whole family tested positive for COVID. So it was a rough week. I wasn't going to do anything. We were in quarantine. And last Friday, my wife had to go to the hospital, which led to last Sunday. And at 11:18 a.m. on last Sunday, my son Robert Edward was born 8 weeks premature. Mom and baby are doing great. So there is a new member of the Big Rican family. And as soon as he is home, as he's in the NICU right now, I will have him on the show. He obviously won't be interviewed, but he will make an appearance, and I have on my Mets dad shirt for the evening. But now, let's get back to why we're here. Let's get to the early baseball season, the thing that we have been excited about since really you, Todd, and I broke this down the night after the Super Bowl. First things first. Second no-hitter of the season, Rodon, against the Cleveland Indians. So I mentioned I wanted to ask you a question. I have not watched any tape from that game, but I understand he was absolute filth. So here's my question. Should Roberto Perez have jumped out of the way?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, when I heard that that's what happened, that's almost as Bush League as getting a walk-off hit by pitch when you put your arm into it. Oh, wait, that happened with the Mets.
You know what? He might as well have bunted at that point. You know what? Just bunt.
Listen, I've had a no-no broken up that way, and the next dude ate one.
and I get it. The pitch was low and in. It was I think it was a curve, if I'm correct, just on that back foot, and he looked like he made a movement, but wasn't enough to get out of the way. Top of the foot, take your base, and I'm just like sitting there, not knowing what to do with myself.
He still threw the no-hitter. It was an absolutely dominant performance. I saw the stat line. It was crazy. So what are your outside of with the injury to Eloy? Now, you guys have a catcher who is just insane right now, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw how the Met game in Colorado ended yesterday. I'm glad you have that catcher. Thank you. McCann rifled Trevor Story to end the game yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I seen that.
Did you see Lindor?
I did.
How pumped he was? Oh, he's not hitting, but I love that guy.
I mean, I took him number 1 overall in my fantasy team.
Really?
I did.
Nice.
I did.
I know you told me you took a bunch of Mets. I didn't realize you took him first overall.
Yeah, I had like a 5th or 6th pick, and I was just like, this stacked lineup. I know it was him transitioning to a new league, but I figured he'll figure it out at a certain point, and once he gets going, he's going to go.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the thing I love the most about this team right now is that when you look up at your stat sheets, guys, the New York Mets are in first place in the National League East. They've only played 11 games. Thanks, Dad. My father just said he loved my shirt. Thanks, Dad.
Can you guys stop getting rained out and snowed out? Because you're really killing me over here.
Bro, it's supposed to snow in friggin' Chicago tomorrow.
I know it is going to snow here tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not happy about that.
But every time I look at my fantasy roster, somebody from the Mets postponed. So
yeah, I can't even begin to tell you.
Also, I want you to go off real quick here. Why can't the New York Mets give any run support to one Jacob deGrom?
I can't even begin to tell you. Okay. The anger that surges through my veins when that boy takes the mound.
Uh-huh.
because let me give you something I wanted to tell you about anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the Mets are getting day in and day out. First of all, let's start here. Tom Seaver, one of the greatest right-handers to ever pitch in the history of the game and the greatest Met of all time. His ERA career for the Mets was 2.57.
Mm-hmm.
So is Jacob deGrom's.
Hmm.
This is where he's at. DeGrom, of course, struck out 9 consecutive hitters. Do you want to know what started the 9 consecutive strikeouts?
What started it?
A leadoff double to Charlie Blackmon and a 4-pitch walk. He went 2-0 to the next guy, 9 in a row. He's averaging 99 on his fastball. He's 33 years old. He is putting up numbers. This is his number so far this year. You ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
He pitched 11 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 35 strikeouts, 0.45 earned run average. Oh, and by the way, he's batting .571.
So can we give him like the Cy Young now this month? Is it too early to just like say
Marcus Stroman is just as good?
it is true, but I mean
He's got like a 60% ground ball rate. That's insanity. And he's the only pitcher in history to put up 3 consecutive 7-inning or better shutout games at Coors Field.
which is hard to do.
He did it twice in 2019, once with Toronto and once with the Mets. And then, of course, Sunday, he was lights out.
And then I seen his little gold glove work there, Stroman.
Dude, people are going after him on Twitter for taunting the Rockies. And he said, I was saying that to my bench who were yelling at me. Listen, I love him.
He tapped the glove with the gold the gold emblem on there. So
do it. I love it.
Listen, let the boys play. I want to see these guys have fun. They're not robots. They're human beings. So when you make a nice play or you crank one 475 or 550, whatever it may be, like show off a little bit. Let it be.
Listen, I agree with you. At 7-4 and only 11 games played, I will take that winning percentage over every 11 games they play. Here's the scary part, Alex. They're not hitting.
I know.
They're not hitting. Their starting staff ERA outside of Lucchesi, who got smoked the other night, has been outstanding. Now, Lucchesi didn't pitch in 10 days, so you can't really, go after him for that.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't bad, though. Peterson has been phenomenal. Stroman has matched DeGrom pitch for pitch, and DeGrom's best guy in the game. It's over. The debate's over. When you're putting up these numbers and you've taken it to the Phillies, you've struck out 14 your last 2 outings, and here's the scary part. That was a 7-inning doubleheader.
Mm-hmm.
He struck out 14 in 6 innings. That means in the entirety of his outing, 4 outs came by non-strikeout.
Scary.
And he's throwing 100 miles an hour in 40-degree weather. I sat here watching that game. Actually, I listened to part of it. We were coming back from the hospital visiting a little guy. I'm listening to that game on the way home, and we go over a mountain from where we live. So I lost it. I got it back after strikeout number 9. And then I watched the highlight film, and I'm watching him, and it's just the change in his he lost his release point at the beginning of the 2nd inning, and then it was like it was back. They said guys go a couple innings to find it. He went 2 pitches, and he found it. And he's effortless. He does not look like a max effort guy. Now, the guy we're getting back on June the 1st in Noah Syndergaard, he's a max effort guy who, by the way, is throwing 97 in Florida right now.
Mm-hmm.
I said it on our preview, and I said it on Willie and Nat's preview. This is a team that can make a run, and it's a team that can go after the Dodgers. Especially if my favorite deportee is pitching the way he has been.
Who's that?
Edwin Diaz. He has been lights out.
Oh, wow. He's on your good side?
1 bad inning.
Okay.
And that was in a DeGrom start that screwed him out of a chance for them to come back. So that drove me crazy. He's not back on my good side yet.
Okay.
Save 4 in a row without giving up runs. Then you get back on my good side. And that sounds like I'm being a little bit hard on him. But you saved 57 games in Seattle, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You came to New York and you basically wet your pants. Get it done.
It's the pressure.
I don't know if it's the pressure, but Hefner's been in his head. Because if you look at, like we talked about last season and how he drove me nuts, but if you look at his numbers, 18 strikeouts per 9 innings, he had a sub-3 ERA in limited appearances because the Mets did not score runs last year. Hi, Megan. My sister says hello. Yeah, I told everybody I was getting back on tonight.
Oh, okay, nice.
So it's been a great start to the season, but your boys are playing some seriously good ball.
They've been playing. They're in that kind of. They're kind of where your guys are at. There's some days where they're hot and some days where they're cold, and when they're cold, they're ice cold. So eventually, I'm hoping when the weather kind of turns a little bit here, that they'll figure it out and things will kind of gel. But for right now, where they're at, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna say.
No, I agree. I haven't obviously everything going on. I haven't watched much outside of the Mets because they're kind of like my escape to get my mind right. Oh yeah, by the way, just off topic. Speaking of escape to get the mind right, game's downloaded.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, you haven't played it yet?
Well, no, because unless you bought the high end, the Jackie Robinson edition, you have no access to it until tomorrow. And for those wondering what we're talking about, Alex and I've already pre-ordered it. It will be ready to play tomorrow. MLB 21, the show 21, Fernando Tatis Jr. on the cover, is on Xbox for the first time ever. And the day I found out, I pre-ordered it. So listen, this is going to be a great week, man. Because my downtime outside of, I think I'm doing a show with Willie. I don't know if it's on the Switch, Megan. Other than doing the show with Nat and Willie tomorrow, I'm going to be playing at night. I've already told the older one. So, anyways, back to the subject at hand. What other early season things have you noticed?
On the bad side, and I know this might bring a little bit of a smile to your face, I did not see this slow start from the New York Yankees. I just didn't.
First of all, give me a minute on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
I said this to Alex before the show started. Garrett Cole's ERA is higher than the combined ERAs of Marcus Stroman and Jacob deGrom. He's getting paid $300 million. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton are making Dave Kingman look like an average hitter.
Ooh.
Hold on. How much younger are you than me? I'm 42.
10 years.
Okay. I'll go a different name for you. How about Rob Deere?
Okay.
They are making those two men who did nothing but hit home runs and strike out look like world beaters. The rest of the lineup, my prediction is coming true. Gleyber Torres cannot hit and play shortstop.
Yeah, does he have like a hoax on him or something or what?
No, it's when you see shortstops who, even in the golden age of the shortstop, when you were talking Garcia Parra, Jeter, A-Rod, Omar Vizquel, Ray Ordonez, these guys, there was a deficiency in one part of their games. Nomar and Jeter were not the defensive wizards that Vizquel and Ordonez were, but Vizquel and Ordonez could not put up the offensive numbers. We have not seen someone put it together like that since Cal Ripken. We're starting to see it now. Lindor, Correa, Story, Seager, Javi Baez. So we're starting to see it again. But Gleyber Torres is not any of those guys. And I like him.
So does he just need a position change, like second or third base? Would that do the trick for him?
You can't. Gio Urshela won a Gold Glove, and he's going to hit 275 and hit 25 homers.
No.
Second base, when Luke Voigt comes back, that's DJ LeMahieu, who you just paid a ton of money to.
Right.
I said it to you and Tone before last season. I'll say it again. The New York Yankees letting Didi Gregorius get out of town was maybe one of the dumbest moves they've ever made.
I would agree with that.
And Didi was primed for that stadium.
He's a pool hitter.
He hit a home run against the Mets in the first series that went to center field. That was the farthest away from right field he'd ever hit a home run in his entire career.
I mean, I 100% believe it because he's a natural pool hitter. So with that short porch that they have in right field, it was
that Little League field.
You're right. I seen the other day, I don't know if it was Stanton or
that
Judge.
Drive that was an out in every other ballpark in the country.
It's an absolute indictment to the game of baseball right there. That was a pop fly.
No, that was a smoked line drive. Okay. But the thing is, that's a double or that is an out in every other ballpark in the country. And these dudes are hitting $168.
Mm-hmm.
They're pitching behind Garrett Cole, who, by the way, has not been bad. He hasn't been.
He hasn't been, actually.
But the pitching behind him has been borderline atrocious. This is the first time since the mid-'90s that they have the worst record in baseball. Worst record in the American League. The worst record in baseball is Colorado.
Right. And
shock.
I mean, I assumed it was going to be Pittsburgh, but they've showed up in a sense.
And that kid I picked for Rookie of the Year has played really good.
Yes.
So I'm not quite done on the rant on the Yankees because I'll say this. Why is Brett Gardner starting in left field?
There's definitely – Boone has some questions to answer for sure.
I can't stand Clint Frazier. I've wanted to slap him since he asked them to unretire number 7.
That's a quick way to find your way out of New York real fast. A quick way.
But he's good.
He is good. He is good.
Although the bonehead throw he made against the Rays on Sunday was kind of funny. Speaking of, who does Tampa Bay think they are?
I told you. Do not sleep on Tampa Bay. Do not sleep on Tampa Bay. They have they're willing to get rid of anybody, and it's next man up. And guess what? That next man up will deliver.
It's unreal. Glasnow's a stud.
Oh, fantasy team as well.
Going back to the Yankees real quick, I am happy to see Jameson Taillon has been pitching very well.
That is good to see. I was a fan in Pittsburgh, so.
So was I. And another thing that's been going well, how about Trey Mancini?
Oh.
That's great, isn't it? Amen.
Yep. Hat tip for sure.
When you get that dinger, when I was on with Willie and Nat, we've got to get you thanks, Willie. Good to be back. We got to get you. I got to talk to those guys about getting you on because baseball's their thing, dude. They are the best.
Listen,
here's the funny thing. I'm in a group text chat with them, and Nat's number comes across. She's from Ohio. I've been to the town she's from.
Okay.
So, and she's a big Indians fan. So, but Mancini's been great. How about Shane Bieber setting records?
I went to that game. What is it? A week ago tomorrow.
I know. I saw the pictures.
Giolito and Bieber. I enjoyed it because it was a pitching feast.
I love it.
Pitching feast. But my wife, who was there with me, was just like, "Can somebody do something?" I'm just like, "Listen,
not against these two.
You're not going to happen tonight." I told her before the game when we walked in, I was like, "This is going to be a pitcher's game. You're going to just have to like tough it out a little bit." And sure enough,
exactly. So. Going into, we're almost at the end of the first month of the season.
Don't say that, man.
So we got some great pitching matchups coming up. Of course, the Mets. DeGrom went Saturday in the first game of the doubleheader. So you're not going to see him in Chicago, but I think Friday night, the 23rd, is Scherzer and DeGrom at Citi Field. Oh, and did you see who's on the injured list already? Speaking of the Washington Nationals.
Strasburg.
Oh, it's like I know what I'm talking about, Alex.
Yeah, I kind of seen it coming. It was bound to happen at a certain point.
Willie just said he appreciates me, and he said get him your info, so we're gonna get you on.
Okay, beautiful.
Willie lives in Texas, and he's an Oakland Athletics fan. He's awesome. Nat, of course, huge Indians fan, is in love with Shane Bieber. Speaking of the Indians, Man, Andres Jimenez is off to a good start. There's a shortstop.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was blanking for a second.
You're good. He's off to a great start. And Rosario doesn't look half bad in center field at times.
No, he actually played a pretty good game the other day when I seen him.
That's the move. If they didn't get Lindor, I remember telling you that's the move I wanted the Mets to make. Make Jimenez the everyday first baseman or shortstop, and then put Rosario in center field.
Mm-hmm.
But we got Lindor. I'll take it. So what else do I want to hit you with? So the Dodgers and Padres are fighting already.
Oh, I was all over it this weekend.
Here's the thing. What set that off? Because my days have just kind of run into the next with everything going on.
So it was Kershaw on the bump, and I think it was Margot who hit the catcher's mitt, so catcher's interference.
Yep.
And essentially Kershaw just basically said it was like Bush League, like, BS and stuff like that. So Margot kind of was chirping back at him as well too. And after that, that's kind of really where like the blood was started to boil. I don't think anybody got beaten in the game, but you could definitely tell like tensions were rising as the series went on.
They're going to go.
Oh, they are.
Well, they're going to go.
They're 100%.
And first of all, who does Margot think he is? Does he not remember Clayton Kershaw was the center for Matthew Stafford? The dude's a former O-lineman. You don't tussle with O-linemen.
I would not mess with Kershaw either. He seems pretty quiet, but he could probably throw hands.
He's from South Georgia. Of course he can throw hands. Oh, my Lord. But just I want to get a little bit more into your White Sox, a little bit more into my Mets. So what has been your favorite thing? Because I'll tell you what my favorite thing's been about the Chicago White Sox, and it's not the pitching. It's that catcher. Good Lord. Where did you find him?
I don't know, but I will have to say that the most exciting thing is watching Yerman Mercedes hit 470-foot home runs on a regular basis. That's definitely been
nasty.
Oh, my gosh. And aside from the fact that he just cranks like massive dingers, the guy can straight up hit.
Yes.
Right now, as far as I'm concerned, when he steps in the batter's box, the baseball looks like a beach ball. It's massive.
I wish I could have been in a zone like that ever.
And one thing is, and I know he's a little bit older and stuff like that, but for him seeing some top tier pitching, he's not one to chase pitches. He's got some maturity in him for sure. So
you're telling me this dude can hit bombs 450 to 500, is a flat out good hitter, young, and has good plate discipline?
But he's 28 years old, so
okay.
This is just like he's just making it to the bigs now because he's been in independent leagues and kind of bounced all over the place, played in different countries and so forth. But now he's finally got his shot here because Eloy's out, so he's definitely making his time worth it right here. And he's got people putting his name on or his jersey is selling out basically.
That's phenomenal. I love those stories when you see a guy like that who's bounced around, gets his shot, and just goes ham on it. So how old is that catcher?
You're talking about Collins?
No, the young kid that you guys. Maybe I'm thinking the catcher's the guy we were just talking about, because I thought they had a guy in the minor leagues that they allowed McCann to go to the Mets.
Oh, you're talking about maybe Andrew Vaughn, but he's not a catcher. They got him in left field right now.
Okay.
And he's naturally a first baseman, but he's not going to play first base with
not right you there.
No. So
how's he been hitting?
He's hitting pretty well. I got a little bit of a gripe though.
Oh boy.
I don't know if I've talked to you. I don't know if I talked to you about this before the season, but the whole Tony La Russa experience is not exactly panning out how Chicago expected it. The game that I went to, and in other games prior to that and after that, the lineups that he put out there are just questionable to say the least.
La Russa at the end of his career in St. Louis was piecing together lineups and winning around Pujols really being his one big gun outside of David Freese. Do you think he's still got that mentality? Because, listen, the White Sox are loaded.
They are loaded, but like I said, there's games where they're winnable games, and he's putting out there like your Sunday afternoon lineup on a getaway day type of thing. So I'm just like, listen, dude, I get it. It's early in the season and stuff like that. You want to give everybody reps, but you got to go with your hot hands. And there's been games where, like I mentioned, Yerman Mercedes is coming off of a 3-4 hit game and cranking a dinger, and he's on the bench. I'm just like, well, what are you doing?
Is he? You think he's just trying to get other people at bats?
Yeah, I 100% it is, but I'm just like, you got to ride the hot hands.
I agree.
There's no reason around it.
Listen, Dom Smith has sat a couple of times and I've wanted to choke Luis Rojas. And now, especially now, because let me shift gears on the Mets and then we're going to get into 10 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a take on that you're going to laugh.
Okay.
So with the Mets, the thing about them is right now, Brandon Nimmo has almost a 500 on base percentage and a 460 batting average. They can't hit with men on base. They can't. They've won 7 games and 4 of them are by 1 run. They're 4-0 in 1-run games. Michael Conforto should be the 3-hitter on this team, but he can't hit with guys on it. He got a couple base hits in the Colorado series. Pete, same thing, although he's hit a couple of rockets last few days. Your lineup and mine, when they start to click, it's going to get scary if the pitching holds up. Now, consistency would be huge because did Giolito pitch today and it wasn't great?
He got rocked. It was an early game, and Boston is a sneaky good team.
They are.
Sneaky good. And I picked him. What's that?
Is Sale back?
No.
He's not back yet.
No.
Wow.
But JD Martinez right now is like mid-season form right now. He's cranking it right now.
That's crazy. Let me answer a couple of comments real quick. Kyle, they may be back, and Giolito might have gotten lit up, but play that game again. I bet you he's a little better. Willie, as far as intentionally sparking the rivalry, the Yankees have to hit their weight. And those dudes go 6'4", 6'5", 260.
There's some big boys.
They got to hit their weight. He says, great show. Willie just said, great show. We can't wait to get you on. So
excellent. I'm looking forward
to it a little bit. Okay. So we have ranted about baseball for 27 minutes, almost 28 minutes. In 10 days, it is the biggest joke of an exhibition known to man. And that is the NFL Draft, coming to you live from Cleveland, OHIO. They are putting up the stage as we speak. I saw some pictures. I have friends that are going to the draft. So what have you thought of all the garbage being spewed about this draft in the last few days?
The whole controversy or conversation about Mac Jones potentially going number 3 overall is it a joke? Is this like a late April Fool's type of thing, or what?
Let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith, who may be the one person I want to shut up more than anybody else in this industry, maybe Skip Bayless, has been talking about Ohio State quarterbacks and how they don't perform at the next level. He's not. It's not untrue, but he has compared Justin Fields to Dwayne Haskins. So let's go back and look at Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins had 1 year as a starter. He threw 50 touchdowns. He threw less than 10 picks. He lost 1 game. He won a Rose Bowl. He then gets drafted, I think it was 10th overall to Washington. But let's examine that. The coach didn't want him. The offensive coordinator didn't want him. The quarterback's coach didn't want him. Why did Washington take him? Because he went to the same school as Dan Snyder's kid.
Correct.
Now, go to the next year. They get Riverboat Ron after kicking Gruden's brother out. The coach didn't want him. The offensive coordinator didn't want him. And the new quarterback's coach did not want him. How are you supposed to succeed?
Set up to fail constantly.
Exactly. Now, here's what really burns me. He's in Pittsburgh. He is far better than Mason Rudolph.
Oh, agreed.
when Pittsburgh figures it out after their stupidity of this year, Dwayne Haskins is going to be a stud.
I agree.
My words. Dwayne Haskins is going to be a stud.
I think that's just he can work in that system
because he's big.
Yes,
he's a little bit mobile. He's not what Justin Fields is. So let's go to Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you a question. Who was the last good Alabama quarterback?
Oh, gosh. In the pros? I mean, they can perform in Alabama, but when they get arguably you can say the same thing about Alabama quarterbacks.
I have the answer.
What's the answer?
It's Richard Todd, the former quarterback of the New York Jets. Oh, by the way, do you want to know who he took over for? Joe Namath.
Somehow I knew that name was going to come up.
This is what we're talking about. The last three good Alabama quarterbacks were Joe Namath, Ken Stabler, and Richard effing Todd. But Mac Jones, end all be all. You have McShay and the rest of these morons talking about Fields as weapons.
Mm-hmm.
He has 3 first-round picks on his offense, and he was the 2-time DUI scout team quarterback until Saban got him an offensive line and weapons out the yin-yang.
And I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying he's not talented, not saying he doesn't have the ability, but for this kind of talk to be spewed right now, it's just in terms of what Stephen A. Smith says, blasphemy, right?
Oh, he needs to shut his mouth. I told you something was going to get me going. Justin Fields is. Did anyone not see what he did against Trevor Lawrence and Clemson in the Sugar Bowl?
He picked that team apart.
22, 28, and 6 touchdowns.
Huh.
He had as many incompletions as touchdowns.
Correct.
With a busted hip.
Correct.
Did you see some of the stuff from his pro day?
Oh, crisp.
Cannon.
Yes.
Now, did you hear what Trevor Lawrence said?
No, what did he say?
Apparently, he's cool to walk away at any time. Could you imagine if Justin Fields said that?
I mean, he wouldn't go in the first round.
No. I did a breakdown. I didn't write anything down. I did it in my head. And I did this during the Heisman run that Haskins went on when Kyler won the Heisman and Tua finished second. Kyler deserved that Heisman. Not going to say anything against it.
Right.
But I broke it down. And I broke it down by top 30 defenses. Kyler played one. And he played it twice. It was Texas. He lost the first game, won the second one. Completion percentage, high 50s. Touchdown to interception was okay. Didn't touch his average yards on the ground or in the air. Okay. Tua played 3. Below 50%. More picks and touchdowns. Couldn't touch his average. Haskins played 7. 65% completion. 19 touchdowns. 0 picks. And if you want me to take it to the top 35, he threw 5 touchdown passes in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern. So that's 24-1. Trevor Lawrence played 4 games on the same field as a team that could run with Clemson, and he's 2-2. Fields is playing top 20 defenses every week in the Big Ten, and he is lighting it up.
Right. I mean,
I can't even begin to tell you, Alex. It's just starting to drive me crazy.
At this point, is it all but guaranteed that he's going to Jacksonville then?
Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah, Urban. Can I see Urban doing something crazy? I could.
I mean, the
first NFL job.
Okay.
If this was Urban's second or third stop and he had a resume like he did in college, yes, I can see Urban Meyer doing something like that, but I can't see him doing it now. I haven't decided if I'm doing, depending on what's going on, I might do a live reaction show to the draft like Frank and I did last year.
Okay.
I will be shocked if Justin Fields goes number 1 overall to Jacksonville. I think he'd be a good fit if Urban wants to run his scheme because remember, Urban's final scheme in college was Ryan Day. I think he'll be great. Shanahan needs him because Jimmy G can play this year. But don't sleep on Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Where did we have Fields going in our mock? Did Fields go to San Francisco?
I had him going 3. San
Okay.
Francisco.
And then I had Mac Jones going to
New England.
New England. I can't even begin to tell you. If Mac Jones goes 3 to San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan's going to lose his job and John Lynch is done. You may have gotten into the Hall of Fame as a safety brother, but you're getting nowhere as an executive.
That would be to me, and I'm not a Niners fan, don't really have any connection to them at all. But if they did that, they're making a large mistake.
And listen, Mac Jones, if he ends up in the right spot, could be a great quarterback.
You're right. But to go 3, that's a stretch.
Never mind to go 3. He's not going to be throwing the ball to Waddle and Devontae Smith. He's not going to be handing the ball to Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people just forget what he had.
Yeah.
I know I picked my boys to win the national title, but if you'd have told me our 2 best interior defensive linemen and Trey Sermon weren't going to play, I would have picked Alabama in a walk. And I bleed scarlet and gray.
Mm-hmm.
I am so floored at the garbage that is being spouted because this dude had one good year. Because last year when he came in for Tua, he was garbage.
I don't even remember him last year.
He played part after Tua's hip. He's the one that played, and Alabama lost 3 games.
Okay.
I just don't know where the questioning of a quarterback who was given that kind of weaponry. I don't understand how you can just discount another one who did it for 2 years and did it in bigger games against better competition the entire time.
I mean, going back to Fields, weren't there like 30 teams at his pro day?
Between the 2 pro days, all the teams showed up.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, no. The Browns didn't go.
Okay.
Neither did Cincinnati. But they're both set at quarterback for the next several years between Baker and Joe Burrow. Did you see that the Bengals made improvements for Burrow this year?
What do they do?
New uniforms.
Oh.
I have a sick feeling in my stomach they're going to take Jamar Chase.
You think so?
Yeah. And Burrow's going to be out again. Penny Sewell is the pick.
Oh, I agree. You got to protect him. He's coming off an ACL. Have to protect him.
He was David Carr. David Carr.
I'm just saying, if I know he's valued right now in Cincinnati, but if you have any sense of like common sense, you protect him, especially after you're going to bank on him being your starter going forward for the foreseeable future.
And listen, Burrow's a stud.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I think he's a stud. I would take him as my, starting QB. But we're not going to go down that route. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, not today. Not today.
Red Raider's still not doing it for you, huh? I can't even begin to tell you. I was sitting here and I'm like, all right, I'm going to bring up the draft to him. And I'm like, do I open the can of worms? I know he doesn't want me to open.
I'm at this point, I can talk about it. It's at the end of the world. I've packed up all my Bear stuff. I'm going to resell it. So
here I am looking for more Browns gear, and you're selling the Bear stuff.
Yeah, I'm packing it up.
Here's a question for you. Speaking of your team, and I'm going to go to your biggest rival. Aaron Rodgers going to be the next host of Jeopardy?
He is.
How
100%.
good is he?
He's good.
Did you see the tidal waves category they had the other night?
No.
Okay. So they're talking about consecutive championships.
Okay.
The clue was these Midwesterners won 5 NFL championships in the 60s. No one knew the answer.
Green Bay Packers?
He goes, Green Bay Packers? The next one. This team won the NBA championship from 1959 to 1966. The dude rings in and goes, who are the Boston Celtics? He goes, oh, you know that one, huh? It's like, wow.
I mean, he's good to leave football now. He can hang up the cleats. It's okay.
Listen, he told McAfee he wants the gig. You see Joe Buck's going to do it now, too?
I did see that. I heard about that the other day.
I think he's going to be good, too. I haven't watched much because I haven't wanted to watch Alex's last episode yet because this was an every night thing when I was a kid. Every night, 7 o'clock, dinner time, we watch Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big Wheel of Fortune guy because in New York, that's 7 and 7:30. In Ohio, it's Wheel at 7 and what's his name at 7:30 at Jeopardy. But I haven't been able to watch Alex's thing, but I want to watch Aaron because he looked like he was really good at it.
I've seen just a couple snippets of it, not like entire episodes, and looks like he's a decent host, honestly.
He told McAfee he was more nervous for Jeopardy than he was a Super Bowl.
I think I seen a picture. I don't know if somebody tweeted it out or if it was him or not, but he had like little cue cards in front of him by the podium, and it says "Stand up straight and relax." Yes,
I did see that. I think he'd be good. I really do.
I think so too.
Really good.
Speaking of that, just to go off on just a quick tangent, do you think there's any way that he leaves Green Bay at any point?
He's a bit of a historian, so I don't think so.
Okay.
I think this draft will have a lot to say with that. He said last year on McAfee's draft night show, they hadn't taken a skill player in the first round in 15 years. And then they took Jordan Love. The Packers have holes.
They do.
But they've been to 2 straight NFC Championship games with those holes. I'm guessing you did see the guy's final Jeopardy answer was who decided to kick the field goal?
No.
Oh, yeah. First episode, the guy said, sorry, I got to fix the cushion here. The guy says, whose idea was the field goal was his final answer. And Aaron goes, thank you. It was great. I think he's too much of a historian to leave Green Bay.
Okay.
Favre just wanted to play football. I don't think Aaron's going to go anywhere. I think he would rather hang him up and go do something else than not hang him up and go somewhere else.
I mean, not that I've done some, significant digging, but it just sounds like the relationship is a tad bit strained with him and Green Bay right now. But it could be amended with, a quick conversation or just, simple sit down meeting,
I agree. And, I think the only quarterback who's not, I think I said this to you last time, the only quarterback who's not spoken to about personnel decisions more is Russell Wilson. And
didn't you hear he's going to be a Bear? He's coming.
It's going to cost you guys everything, including the peanut vendors.
Give it up.
That's wonderful.
Give it up.
Oh, that's great. They probably will.
Right now, if there's one thing that I wouldn't doubt, it's stupidity in that front office.
No, I hear you. And listen, I said before the thing, the Browns cut Sheldon Richardson. From what I'm reading on Twitter, there are people who firmly believe that he's going to sign a team-friendly deal to come back to Cleveland. So let's talk about my Browns for just a moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a defensive line that bookends two number one draft picks, number one overall draft picks in Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. Our buddy Tone, who we got to get back on again. I mean, I know he's been in Super Bowl overdrive. And then, of course, went to WrestleMania, which I heard was really cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrestling on a tangent, did you see who is now one of the main guys on Friday Night SmackDown?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
He can do it all.
This dude is great. Have you started watching this stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Did I send you the Jordan Love draft reaction?
You did. Yeah. And from that moment, I was basically like, "Oh, this is must watch."
Oh, it is.
It's must watch.
I was watching clips the other day because I catch it on YouTube because if it's work or what's going on right now, I don't get to watch his show or listen. And my son goes, "Is that dude smoking a cigar?" And it's AJ Hawk. It's the great Buckeye, AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
So McAfee, I think I'm going to start watching SmackDown again just because McAfee's.
You put him up in front of him, and he knows he's like lightning quick.
And the scary part is he was a hell of a punter. It's not like he was just a stiff. This dude could play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He said he was going to kick for the Bears.
Who's that?
After Parkey doinked those two, my son just said, "Hey, father." He's at his buddy's house. Hi, Zach. So let's go back to the Browns.
Yep.
Defensive line. You're bookending a now healthy post-COVID Myles Garrett and a healthy Jadeveon Clowney with most likely two new guys in the Sheldon Richardson, like I said, I think he's going to come back. I think they're going to draft a D tackle in the draft this year. I don't think it's going to be the first round. I think they're going to go linebacker or edge depth. But now your defensive end rotation, Garrett, Clowney, and Takk McKinley.
Watch out, AFC.
Are the Cleveland Browns now the best team in the AFC North?
Yes.
Are they a legit Super Bowl contender?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No.
Because like we were talking about off air, this is a team now that did everything. John Johnson. Hale.
Which is a sneaky good pickup because he was phenomenal with the Rams.
He was. Hill was a great slot corner. Oh, by the way, Greedy and Grant Delpit are going to be healthy.
Okay.
Denzel Ward. Now you got these two guys on the defensive line, or these three guys on the defensive line. This might be the best Browns team we've seen, definitely since '99. But then you go to the other side of the ball where they've done nothing. They've done absolutely nothing on offense. But Odell's healthy. Jarvis is healthy. Hollywood's back. DPJ is back. The best offensive line in football is back.
Run the ball.
The best running back tandem in the NFL is back. And oh, by the way, remember, Kareem Hunt signed an extension already.
Mm-hmm. I did see that.
They're going to re-sign Nick Chubb. If I had to bet money, Baker is going to take a team-friendly deal. He'll make most of his money in bonuses and
his commercials.
I love his commercials. But here's the other thing, and I've wanted to say this to people before too. Does anyone know where Progressive's national headquarters is?
No.
Mayfield Heights, Ohio. 15 minutes from First Energy Stadium. Baker Mayfield is not the spokesman for Progressive because he is a star, but he is. Baker Mayfield is the spokesperson for Progressive because he is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. That's it. And he's charismatic.
He is. Yeah.
My favorite one is the one where it's two. The one where he goes grocery shopping. Those are blue bags from Giant Eagle, which is where my mother and father still go to this day to get their groceries. The other one is when he's playing PlayStation or Xbox with Jedrick Wills on the
It's too loud, right?
big thing. Big, the neighbors are complaining.
Too loud.
I told you it was too loud. And they start playing again. Those two are my favorites. You can go on YouTube and watch them all.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're all there. So, Baltimore's improved a little bit, but they're going to have to trade an offensive lineman because he won't play because he wants to stay at left tackle. In Orlando Brown, Zeus's boy, and Zeus, of course, was the guy who got hit in the eye with the. I'm pretty sure this is old man. Got hit in the eye with the flag.
Oh, okay.
And whooped up on the ref. I'd have done the same thing. See, he was done it for that.
Yeah, he was.
What surprise? And I asked you this night of the mock draft. And we've had a couple weeks. We've had some more free agents. We've had a lot of talk. What surprises can you see really putting the draft on its ear?
I can potentially see, and I know they're not in it in the first round, but I could potentially see Seattle doing something with Russell to find their way into a draft pick.
That wouldn't be a bad move for them because they've got a lot of rebuilding to do.
They do.
The Legion of Boom is no longer.
It's gone.
It's been gone. You're right. But they have pieces in DK Metcalf. What's the other receiver's name?
Oh, how am I blanking on him right now?
Yeah, me too.
Baldwin, right? Or no? No?
I think Baldwin's there. Let me take a look. Tyler Lockett.
Lockett, you're right. My bad.
He just re-signed. No, listen, I couldn't remember him either. So they have studs on the outside. Their offensive line isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's not Cincinnati, but it's not Cleveland. They can draft a quarterback.
Just considering that everything going on, aside from all this Chicago, connection, the relationship is I think ruffled beyond belief right now, and I think that Seattle's trying to stay as hush about it as possible. But I think it's all but guaranteed that Russ wants out for sure. So why not trade him or something right now to get yourself some back?
I agree. If you can't repair the relationship, you have to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a lot of capital for Russell Wilson. Real quick, Kate, I'm sorry my phone was in the way and I didn't notice that you had said hello when I said hello to Zach, my daughter. So the kids are watching. So, yeah, no, I think Russell moving has to be done. Which team outside of your Bears who would have to sacrifice probably the next 2 or 3 years? Is this a move that Atlanta has the draft capital and the players? Is this a move that Carolina has the draft capital or the players?
What team out there right now?
What team out there do you think could make that move for Russ and not absolutely destroy their future?
I think honestly, at the top of the list would probably be Carolina because they're already in that rebuild mode, and have kind of gotten past those initial stages. So they could probably give up quite a bit or give up enough and not have to do a complete reset again.
Does a Russell Wilson move cost Carolina Christian McCaffrey?
Ooh.
Because if I'm Pete Carroll and Russ is under contract, why not ask for him?
I suppose, but then don't they still have Chris Carson? Didn't he re-sign?
Are we really having this discussion?
No, but it's...
Yes, he did re-sign. Chris Carson did stay up there. But if it's a draft pick and Christian McCaffrey, If it's a number one this year, and Christian McCaffrey, if you're Pete Carroll, you need to make that deal. This can't be draft day.
Right.
You got to make this deal.
No, you're right, and I guess I'm probably putting a little bit more stock into Chris Carson than really do. I think he's a solid running back, but in comparison, there's no equal there. It's one top tier and one
middle ground,
third or fourth tier.
Yeah. So hang on a second. I've got to reset Anchor because we're almost at an hour.
Go for it.
Back in the saddle. So yeah, no, I definitely understand that. So we're back on Anchor. This is the for the audio. Still here with Alex. We're approaching an hour. I figured it'd be about this much because you and I haven't talked in a while. So last couple things I want to get to, and then we can wrap this up because I got to be up early and go do stuff. So, so really the only player you see making a splash with the draft and moving. Sorry, I had to fix that again. Is Russ.
I think so. I mean, I really haven't read or followed up with like any significant rumors out there that I can see that any team making a splash move. But I mean, I suppose being a handful of days away, or a little more than a handful of days away, there could be something that is that's brewing right now that we're not really aware of just yet.
Most likely. I don't think anyone would be telling Schefter about this because of how close it is to the draft.
Right.
So the other question that I was going to pose to you, and I'm going to answer it first. If there's no big moves, what team could just absolutely flummox the entire draft? And I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
And it's going to be Cincinnati because they're going to draft a wide receiver and they're going to get Joe Burrow killed. And they will be in their perpetual rebuild for the 15th year.
Wow.
Now, don't get me wrong. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow have some history.
Mm-hmm.
Like record-setting NCAA history. I get it. But if Joe Burrow can't stand, he can't throw the ball. And Ryan Finley is not going to have that kind of rapport with Jamar Chase. So I think Cincinnati can screw it up that way. No, I don't think the Jets can do it this time. Shocker. Listen, they've got their man. Oh, and by the way, Carolina won't make that trade with Seattle. They just traded for Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
He picked up his fifth-year option.
I forgot about that. Okay,
you heard of it?
I heard of it. I just didn't remember. That's all.
You're all good. I just remembered it now because I was talking about the Jets. Within a couple hours of the deal, they picked up his fifth-year option.
Wow.
Matt Rule.
I mean, a fresh restart. This could be a rebirth in a sense.
Could Sam Darnold pull a Ryan Tannehill?
I mean, I would like to see it. I mean, I think when he went to the Jets, he really never had a chance. It was kind of like the Haskins situation, honestly. I mean, that the Jets have been a dumpster fire for as long as I can remember. So any quarterback, regardless of how good they are, right down the drain.
McAfee had the stats. There were only 4 quarterbacks who have been over 500 in the last 20-some years for the Jets. Names like Vinny Testaverde. Brett Favre had a 9-7 season. Do you want to know which quarterback had the best record for the New York Jets in the last 25 years? And I'll tell you this, it's not Chad Pennington. And that broke my heart.
That name was actually going to pop in my head right now. Who is it?
It's Mark Sanchez.
Wow.
Mark Sanchez won 35 games for the New York Jets.
The Sanchez?
Here it is. They go 9-7 his first year. He won 8 of them because he had to sit out a game because he hurt his knee. He then won 2 games in the playoffs. He won 10 games his first year. They go 11-5 in year 2. He wins 2 games in the playoffs. That's 23 wins in 2 years. They go 8-8 the next year. Sanchez won more games in his first 3 seasons than Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Brady. And then they dismantled his offense and went out and got Tim Tebow to run the Wildcat.
Absolute indictment. Absolute indictment. Wow.
You know who their most successful head coach at that time was? Rex Ryan.
Ah, Rex, yeah.
Oh, Rexy was fun. Rexy was a blast.
I could imagine.
Oh,
Could imagine.
that's still when they were Team A and the Browns were Team B. Oh, Rex was a blast.
Does he still have that ESPN gig now?
Yeah, he does. Dude, the guy's a defensive guru.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing about him. I read his book. I didn't know this. His mother was a Rhodes Scholar, first of all. Second of all, he's dyslexic.
Is he really?
Yeah, and he helped diagram and figured out the 46 defense faster than Rob did.
Wow.
Like Buddy put it on paper, and Rex had it first.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is a football savant. And hilarious to boot.
He is.
So I don't see the Jets doing that. Carolina won't make that deal. I think if you're looking at someone to make the deal for Russ, it's going to have to be an outlier that no one's talking about. And it burns me to say this, but I can see Miami doing it.
But didn't they go all in with Tua? You let Fitzmagic walk.
Yeah, you let Fitzmagic walk, but you still needed him to come in and be a closer to get a big win to keep you alive in the playoff hunt.
Oh, I remember.
I think Miami's a quarterback away. I don't think it's Tua. Ask Frank. We went back and forth. I can't stand the guy. I don't think he's nearly as good as people think he is. I think he finished second in the Heisman Trophy because Georgia blew a coverage and didn't prepare for them to pull Jalen Hurts. Think about it. They anointed him after they won that national championship.
You're right.
That was a blown coverage and a team that didn't prepare for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he's going to be he was the saving grace going to Miami by any means. But just judging by the way that Miami has operated this and has managed this whole quarterback situation, kind of made me seem that they were pushing all the chips in on Tua. But I guess I could see it happening.
I mean, if you're talking about a team that's a quarterback away, that's a proven quarterback away, Miami an argument can be made for Miami. An argument can be made for New Orleans.
The New Orleans thing I could see.
But I mean, they've got cap issues.
They do.
They've got big cap issues. So does Pittsburgh.
No money to spend.
Exactly. So you may not be able to take on his contract unless you restructure it. And I think with the amount of money Russ is owed, he's not going to want to restructure it.
Money up front.
Exactly.
Not on the back end.
Exactly. Oh, what else is going on since you and I talked last? Oh, we're going to jump back to baseball. I told you they're going to get the Lindor deal done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, would it end on 12 years, right? 10 years?
11.
11.
But this year, the contract starts next year.
Okay.
This year, he's playing for his final arbitration number, which is like 19 or something. Next year starts the 10 years for 341. So at the end of the day, it's 11 years for like 360.
Is that going to set the tone for next year's big class of free agents?
It is, but look what they did. They gave him $1 million more than Fernando Tatis. That's what the Mets basically did. They said, listen, 10 years, 341. You get $1 million more. You get, I think there's back end money on this too.
I'm sure there is.
Oh, no, there's not.
Oh, no?
That was part of it. Either the last deal the Mets offered before they got to the 341 had no back money, or this one does. I can't remember which. But apparently, Lindor now has been in Michael Conforto's ear, chirping. You need to stay. Let's play together for the next 10 years. You need to stay.
Do you think they'll give Conforto a 5-7 year deal or what?
I think he'll get 7. I don't think he'll get the money he wants because of the way he started playing, but I think he'll get 7. DeGrom has an opt-out after this year.
Oh, he's not walking.
Well, no, I think he'll opt out to renegotiate the contract.
Okay.
Because what no one remembers is it wasn't Brody Van Wagenen or the rest of the front office that negotiated his contract. You know who the driving force behind his contract was?
Who?
Special assistant to the general manager, David Wright.
Oh,
David Wright negotiated his deal.
Look at that.
And finally told Van Wagenen, you need to pay him. This is the guy. And now he's putting up Seaver-like numbers. You can't lose him.
Yeah.
And Steve Cohen has already said, I'm going to spend money.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
DeGrom's got the opt-out. Syndergaard's a free agent. Stroman's on a 1 year. Kirby's under control for 2 more.
If there's anybody on that roster though that you could potentially see them letting go, who would it be? Or do you think they bring back everybody and restructure it?
I think that depends on how this year goes.
Okay.
If they make a deep run, I think he'll try and run it back. Syndergaard's not going to cost a ton of money because he's coming off Tommy John. He's not going to have a full season. But you can get him for 12 to 15 a year. Conforto's going to cost you $175. And I know I'm talking like it's monopoly money.
That much, really?
I think so. He's a Scott Boras guy, Alex.
Oh, okay. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm
on the fence.
When I think Conforto, I don't think $150 million. I think, 7 for, I don't know, 105 type of thing.
I'd give him the Piazza deal, $791.
Okay.
That's $13 million a year.
Sure.
For a guy who, played in the World Series before he went to his first big league camp, it's pretty good. And the great part about it is none of these guys want to leave.
Oh,
they only stay.
That's even better when guys have bought into it and want to stay.
Stroman's living with his parents. He's from Long Island. Speaking of Long Island, how good has Steven Matz been in Toronto? Have you seen this?
I have not seen much of Toronto. No.
Sub 1.5 in 3 starts. He's been lights out.
Wow. I haven't caught much of Toronto, honestly.
He needed a change of scenery.
Okay.
I miss him because I love the lefties. And not for nothing, I'd rather have him than Joey. But good for him, man. Good for him. And Harvey's pitched pretty well in Baltimore.
That's good. That's good to see.
It really is. I mean, that guy, someone just put up, it happened, what was it, 8 years ago today was the start against the Nationals when the fans were chanting Harvey's better when he beat Strasburg. I remember him pitching a shutout against having a no-hitter against your boys deep into a game. The night had the nosebleed on the mound.
Who's that?
Harvey.
Against the Sox?
Against that 2013 season. The Sox were at Citi Field.
Huh.
Harvey started the game. The Mets won 1-0 in 10. He went 8, and he had a no-hitter through 7.
Oh, wow.
But in the first inning, he's got the blood coming down his nose. If this was the 80s, different animal. If it was Doc, different animal. But yeah, Harvey 2013, 2015. Oh,
yeah. The Dark Knight in full effect.
5 years ago, yesterday, I went to Cleveland to watch the Mets. My wife's first major league game, I think. First game with me, anyway. And she let me walk into that joint with the Batman mask on because Harvey was going that day. I had on my white home pinstripe jersey and my Batman mask. And every time Harvey took the mound, I put the mask on.
Nice.
I had people looking at me funny. It was great.
Who cares?
I don't.
Yeah.
So listen, we're at the 1 hour and 10-minute mark. I got some stuff to finish up before I get to bed. Why don't you tell us what's coming up on Row 7, Alex?
Well, I just dropped actually a new podcast just before I hopped on yours. So there's some new content out all over Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeart podcasts. As always, you can find me at Row 7 Podcast on Twitter or my personal Twitter handle at Alex_RG8. Talking all things sports because that's the type of animal that I am. Just live, eat, and breathe everything. Baseball, football, basketball. If it's trending, if it's current, if it's newsworthy, I'm on it.
I see you stole one from my Cavaliers last night.
I'm not watching too much of the Bulls right now either because they're also riding the pine pony.
Well, as far as Big Rican goes, I will be on the Brothers of Baseball and the Shakeback Sports Network tomorrow night. As far as it's myself, Natalie, and Willie are going to be doing an episode tomorrow. As far as me, on the fence, but most likely we'll be doing either a live tweeting or a live reaction show to the draft in just 10 days. It's the end of this month.
Looking forward to it.
I listen, it's in Cleveland. It's a football city. I can't wait.
If you do something just send me a message or something, let me know. I'll hop on and we can chime in,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm probably going to live tweet it.
Okay.
Just because, the Mets are going to be on, so it's not even a question. Let's stay up to watch pick number 26, which I think the Browns are going to take either the kid from Notre Dame, the linebacker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On defense. The linebacker from Notre Dame. Micah Parsons may fall to the Browns, the kid from Penn State. Or now they're talking the edge rusher from Michigan, Quiddy.
Yes. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. He doesn't
need a last name. Look where he goes to school. Dude. I can't even. They're not playing this year's game at the Shoe. They're keeping it on schedule. So they're back up in Ann Arbor for this year.
With fans? Or
are there fans up there?
I don't know.
I don't either. It's been a hammer and a nail for 15 years. It's been a while since I've been on. I am on fire tonight.
Yeah, I know. You're just getting warmed up.
It's toasty in here.
Hey, I have a quick question before we end this. I've heard that your boys are bringing back the black jerseys. Does that mean they're bringing back the black caps?
I think so. And it's not even bringing back. Steve Cohen has said they will wear black jerseys this year.
Okay. I like that.
I'm pumped. I got one in the closet.
You do?
Oh, yeah. I had one, Pedro Martinez. I had 45.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it doesn't fit, so I gave it to my father. So he's excited. So I got my wife usually wears the black one because I have you've seen the blue alternate. Mm-hmm. I've worn that, and I have the white, the home one. But yeah, they rock the black jerseys. I'm at it.
Because I know I had a Mets hat way back in the day, but now it's fitted and it does not fit anymore. So I need to.
The all black?
Yeah, all black with the orange and the blue.
Yeah, I preferred the black with the blue brim.
Oh, I mean, if they do that, that would be sick too.
When they wore the Snow Whites at home, they would wear the black with the blue brim a lot.
Okay.
And I like it because that's the heyday. That's Piazza, Wright, Reyes, Beltran. That's, basically the beginning of my adulthood Mets.
Because I'll give you just a quick tidbit right here, and then we can end it whenever. But back in the day, just to show you how much of a baseball homer that I was, I had myself a one John Franco jersey.
45. It's still a crime that he's not in Cooperstown.
I was a Franco fan.
I love him.
Franco fan.
There are two Mets that I feel it is an absolute travesty they're not in the Hall of Fame. John Franco is one of them. He's the all-time leader in saves for a left-handed pitcher. 424. I want to say 300 plus for the Mets.
He's not in the Hall?
No. He was off the ballot after 1 year, Alex. Do you know the other one who should be in the Hall of Fame and isn't? Is Keith Hernandez.
Well, that's...
You are talking about the greatest defensive first baseman in the history of the game. And I'm going to send you something offline.
Okay.
Guy by the name of the Jolly Olive on YouTube. He's a Met fan podcaster. I've already talked to him. I'm going to try and get him on. Mm-hmm. He has done a best of the Mets booth. Keith Hernandez is a national treasure and should be treated as such. My personal favorite was Arizona had a hot dog that was $25. And there was a very good-looking female eating this hot dog with her significant other. And Gary Cohen goes, that's a $25 hot dog. And Hernandez goes, oh, my goodness. And Gary goes, how much meat do you think is in that hot dog? It'd have to be several pounds, wouldn't it? Hernandez skips a beat and goes, I wasn't talking about the hot dog. Done. Just done.
It's over.
Oh, and they have so much fun with those three dudes in the booth. If you ever get a chance to watch an SNY broadcast, you have to. Because not only, first of all, when Conforto got hit by the pitch and stuck the arm out, they hammered him. Hernandez said, this is terrible. Keith, they got to win. You're a Met broadcaster. What are you doing? And I thought about it.
It's Bush League.
That word came out too. But it's and Darling is just as good, and Cohen is just as good. See, the Mets are lucky. There are broadcast teams and in the radio booth, because I listen to Howie Rose and Wayne Randazzo a lot. They either were players or all grew up Met fans. So you get that Homer-esque to it, but with all due respect, it's not as bad as Hawk Harrelson was. Hawk was bad. I know that's your boy.
No, you're 100% right.
Hawk was bad.
I can't defend that. Can't.
Yeah, he was bad. So I'm going to wrap it up. Big Rican, as always, can be found here on YouTube, Facebook, and on Periscope. The at Big Rican on Sports, the Twitter handle, Big Rican on Sports on Facebook, Spotify, Google, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. You can get the audio of every episode. I will let you guys know if it's going to be a live tweet or if it's going to be a live reaction show to the draft. If it's the live tweet, Alex, I'll let you know. We'll go back and forth. We'll let Tone know. We'll get everybody involved. And we'll have a lot of fun. I am going to bring I'm going to try and get to a weekly Mets wrap-up that I did a couple years ago. They were my first videos on the YouTube channel. So thank you, everybody, for coming back. Sorry I was gone so long, but obviously I had some stuff going on. I will talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your week. Alex, thank you again.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care.